Thanks for watching Coin Collecting Fun, the king of hobbies and the hobby of kings, here with my buddy Charlie.
Hello.
Hey, and we've got some exciting stuff for you. Take it away, my buddy.
How you doing, all? This is another excerpt from Pourri by John Dolson. I hope you enjoy. Saints no more. Everyone makes mistakes once in a while, even the Catholic Church. Occasionally it declares someone a saint, only to find out later that the person never existed. Some examples. Saint Wilgefortis. One of the most popular saints in the Middle Ages, Wilgefortis was supposedly the daughter of a pagan king of Portugal. She was a devout virgin. When her father tried to marry her to the king of Sicily, she prayed to God to disfigure her so her suitor wouldn't marry someone else. According to legend, she instantly grew a thick mustache and beard, the sight of which sent the Sicilian packing. Hence the name Wilgefortis, a corruption of the Latinization of Holy Face. Her new look made her father so mad that he had her crucified, which is why she's portrayed in art as a bearded woman nailed to the cross. Explanation. The saint is a result of a misunderstanding of early Christian crucifixes, which often portrayed Jesus wearing a long tunic instead of a loincloth. Medieval Christians misinterpreted the tunic as a dress, concluded that the wearer, despite the mustache and beard, was a female, and invented an entire body of legends to explain how such a bearded lady came to be crucified. Do I have to even... Why? Just why? There's more. Saint Philomena. According to legend, young Philomena was tortured and murdered after she refused to renounce her virginity and marry the Roman Emperor Diocletian. Background. On May 25, 1802, the skeleton of a 14-year-old girl was discovered in the tomb of one of the Christian catacombs near Rome. 3 titles above the tomb read, "Lights and Peace Be With You," and a small vial thought to contain traces of blood was found next to the body. The vial led the church authorities to believe that the body was that of a martyr. It was later turned over to a church in Megillo, Italy, and entombed beneath the altar. A saint is born. According to Lancelot Shepherd, author of The Saints Who Never Were, it was here that the myth-making began. An anonymous martyr was not very interesting, he writes, but the discovery of a martyr with a name was particularly welcome. The name was obtained, of course, by changing the order of the titles, making them read Pax Tecum Philomena, translated as "Peace be with you, Philomena." Not long afterward, a priest at the church published an elaborate biography he claimed was inspired by a nun who had visions of the saint. Largely as a result of it, Saint Philomena developed a huge following. Her admirers built a shrine in her honor, and in 1855, Pope Pius IX, there's that man again. God, we're in trouble. Anyway, added her feast day to the church's official liturgical calendar. What happened? After consulting with archaeologists in 1961, she was canonized in 1855. It took them till 1961. Really? Really? Over a century later. Really? But let us continue. In 1961, the Vatican admitted the writing on the tiles had been misinterpreted, and the vial found near the body was most likely contained funeral perfumes, common in the catacombs, not the blood of a martyr. That year, the church abolished the Feast of Philomena, removed her name from the liturgical calendar, and ordered the shrine at Megillo dismantled. Now they do it after over a century. Okay. There's more. Saint Expeditious, formerly the patron saint of those in urgent need. Saint Expeditious is portrayed in art stomping a black crow that cries "Cross" or "tomorrow," while holding aloft a cross with the words "Hode," today, written on it. A liturgical depiction that says, "Never put off tomorrow into what you can do today." That sounds like a Poor Richard Almanac proverb. Chicken, egg, did Franklin come up with it? Did they come up with it? Did he steal it? You decide. Explanation. According to one version of the story, in the 19th century, Vatican officials mailed a box of relics to some nuns in Paris. To show when the box had been mailed, the officials wrote the date and the word, in Italian, sent, on the outside of the box. But when it arrived in Paris, the nuns mistook the word sent to be the name of the saint whose relics were inside. They Latinized it into Expeditious. Latinized it. Even though they could read it already. Anyway. And over time created an entire fictional biography around the saint. Most historians believe the saint story is untrue, but they agree the saint never existed. I'm sensing a pattern. They don't have much information, so they said, okay, you know what, screw it. We'll create a gigantic, turns out to be untrue biography about someone we know very little about. Myth making, forward ho. Okay. Saint Eusebia. According to legend, Saint Eusebia, abbess of a convent in Marseille, together with her 40 companions, cut off their noses. Cut off their noses? One, how would they smell? Two, why did... Well, I guess it explains itself. Cut off the noses to escape the outrage of the Saracens, a tribe of Arabian desert nomads. In honor of her sacrifice, Eusebia was interred in a stone coffin with her likeness carved on the lid, complete with the missing nose. I'm sensing a pattern. Explanation. When Sister Eusebia died, approximately 680 AD, her body was laid to rest in a stone coffin that had been carved for someone else. So she didn't even get her own coffin. Was space at a premium or what? What they layered them on top like cordwood, and that the previous owner's likeness carved into the lid. Again, she didn't even get her own coffin. The coffin was displayed in the cathedral. As the centuries passed, the nose wore down to nothing, so much so that latter generations assumed the likeness was of a person who had no nose. And someone finally invented a story. Don't know at all about the person at all, so they just came up with something. Invented a story. Okay. Invented a story to go with it. There is no evidence that Asclepia was considered a saint until after the nose on her coffin wore off. What? Just what? You misinterpret something and suddenly, boom, we have a person. And finally, Saint Napoleon. Saint Napoleon. What do you have? Big man syndrome? Little man syndrome? Napoleonic complex? But an Egyptian saint who was allegedly tortured and martyred during the Roman persecutions. Note, they don't say which one, when, what century, how long he was tortured, for what reason, not even the date. Just the persecutions. Be more specific with your made-up BS. Explanation. Saint Napoleon was actually an 18th century payoff. Payoff? Really? To Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte, who had just signed a concord with the Vatican and wanted a patron saint in his honor. But there weren't any saints named Napoleon, at least until a French cardinal flipped through the official list of saints, found an obscure one named Napoleus, and renamed it Napoleon. He took an actual man's name, renamed it after the French emperor, and said, "Here you go." What? He also wrote a spurious fake, miracle-filled, of course it had to be miracle-filled, new biography on the saint and moved its feast day to August 15th, Napoleon's birthday. How flipping convenient. What? How? Okay. What happened? Napoleon Bonaparte fell from power in 1815. His saint followed soon afterward. It turned out later that even the original Saint Napoleon was a fake. So they based a fake on a fake, and later found out that person was a fake. I'm getting migraine here. What is it with? We don't have much information. So we'll basically create an entirely fake biography about a person because we only have about 3 rubbed out words in about a sentence or two. That consists of a life. Consists of a life. How? Only with the Catholic Church. Only could we basically say, you know what? Screw it. The person already really existed. Let's make him exist. Damn it. The original Saint Napoleon was a fake. Researchers discovered that Napoleon was the name of a place in Egypt, not a person, and was mistaken as a saint only through a copyist error. So it wasn't even a person, it was a place. These people are paid good money to transcribe church documents in the right order as they are subscribed to and subscribed out and in and all that, and they couldn't even get name of place, name of an actual person right. We're in trouble, people. I tell you all, this is going from bad to worse. But there's more. Even so, his feast day was still being observed as late as 1960. 1960? What? 1960? The Napoleon fell from power in 1815. They didn't recognize their screw up and rectify it until 1960? This is a new low in how to get stuff totally off the mark. I mean, this is not even in the same ballpark. This is in the parking lot driving home and realize you forgot your keys kind of deal. How and these people are supposedly smart, educated, church-going people that know their job and are trained to do their job. All these supposed saints were believed to be saints for extended periods of time, sometimes even centuries. You think by now someone would say, maybe we screwed up. And not just maybe we screwed up, maybe we could actually, fix our screw up and not take several hundred years to say, whoops. This is a new high and low. I mean, how could thoroughly educated people who should know their job screw up this bad? And this is just a sampling of saints that they basically removed from the liturgical calendar. Even as late as the 1960s, Saint Nicholas, who is a recognized saint, who did exist. Everyone knows him as Santa Claus, but he was Bishop Nicholas first. That he did exist. This one did exist. Not these jokers, and not the jokers that made these mistakes into actual sainthood. And you think, wait a minute, sainthood takes sometimes several hundred years. You'd think in that time someone would say, yeah, let's see if this person actually exists before we plow through. And even Saint Nicholas was demoted from feast day to a observed holiday. But at least in that case, he actually did exist. This is one strange trip we've been on, and in some cases, it even gets stranger and weirder. Stay tuned for more excerpts from Pourri by John Dolson. I tell y'all, it's gotten strange up to this point, but it might even get a little stranger. Stay tuned. Could be interesting. Subscribe to Jared's channel, Coin Collecting Fun. Subscribe, punch the like button, do all kinds of happy dance stuff, and we'll tune in later and stay tuned for more. Take care.
Take care. Guys, have a great day.